Hello everyone, this is Sesh Kashyap. Today I am going to explain you the chapter from your geography book, chapter number 6, weather and climate. Okay, so I think you know what is weather, what is climate. Yes, what is weather? Yes, weather means day-to-day condition of the atmosphere in a particular area for a period of time. So it changes day to day. Weather changes day to day. Okay, and climate, if we talk about climate, it is the sum of the total of atmospheric conditions of a larger area for a long period of time. Yes, it changes every day. This day to day changes and it is for a long period. Okay, so let's go deep into the chapter now. Yes, come on to the temperature. The sun provides heat and light for all the planets in our solar system. Yes, the only source of light, that is sun. Sun provides heat and light for all the planets in our solar system. That is known as solar radiation. So, means the heat that is given us by the sun. That heat is known as solar radiation. The earth, which is 150 million kilometers away from the sun. Yeah, the earth which is 115 million kilometers, it is far away from the sun. So it receives only a tiny share of it in the form of short waves that travel through the atmosphere and reach the earth surface. So the meaning is that whatever sun rays which are reaching to the earth, that is known as solar radiation. And a small definition is given to you here. The amount of solar energy received by the earth, yes, it is received by the earth, is known as insolation, or we can call it as solar radiation. Have you understood what is solar radiation? The amount of solar energy which is received by the earth. Okay, yes. Now come on to the amount of heat received its maximum near the equator, decreases near the poles. This thing I think you have studied, I think. Yes, the amount of heat that is received from the sun on the equator, it's more and it decreases as we move towards the poles. Okay, yes. So here let's see here, the earth has been divided into 3 zones, that is torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. So let us study what is torrid zone. Torrid zone is located between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. The places located in this zone receive maximum insolations. Yeah, we are talking about the equatorial regions. Yeah, that is known as Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, where you can see the intense maximum heat here. Insolation, what is the meaning of insolation? Heat. If we talk about the temperate zone, it lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn. And let us turn the page. And the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so let's see how is the climate in these zones. It has a moderate amount of insolations. It receives moderate amount of temperature here as the sun rays of the sun are slanting. Yes, as the sun rays are slanting, because of these sun rays, the temperature is here neither too hot nor too cold. Understood? Yes, this was. Now comes the frigid zone. It lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and Antarctic Circle in the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. So this is the frigid zone and it lies between all this. You can see these are the coldest regions of the earth, because here the earth does not receive any kind of sun rays. Means they receive minimum insolation, minimum less. Insolation, heat. What is the meaning of insolation? That is heat. So that's why when the sun heat will not be, so obviously that portion will suffer winter. Yes, always freezing. That's why this zone is known as frigid zone. So we can say that the rays of the sun are not falling equally on the earth. Somewhere you can see extremely hot, or somewhere you can see moderate, or somewhere no rays only. That's why that is known as frigid zone. Now come on to measurements of temperature. As you all know, students, temperature is measured with the help of an instrument known as thermometer. Yes, everyone underline and start to learn this. It is expressed in the units of degrees on the Celsius or Fahrenheit scale. So it is measured in the units of degrees on the Celsius. Okay, yes. So insolation received by the earth is not the same everywhere. As I told you right now, variety of factors are responsible for these. Let us see what factors are these. Latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, prevailing winds, ocean currents, slope affect the temperature on the surface of the earth. So these are the factors which are responsible for the insolation that is received by the earth. Let's see the factors one by one. First is latitude. First is latitude. As you all know, the earth's surface is curved. Yeah, it is little bit tilted. Curved means little bit tilted. And the sun rays strike at varying angles. Yes, the sun rays are also not equal. There are variations in temperature. Yeah, there are so many changes in temperature from the equator to the poles. At the equator, there will be very high sunlight, or it will decrease as we are reaching to the poles. So therefore, at the equator, the rays are very vertical. They are vertical. Vertical means just straight. And the duration of daylight is longer, while at the poles, the sun rays are slanting and the duration of daylight decreases. Yeah. So it clearly says that, number of times it is said that near the equator, the sun rays are straight. They are vertical. That's why those areas receive extreme heat. Okay, and as we go up, as we are moving upwards to the poles, the duration of daylight decreases. Hence, there is a distinct decrease in the temperature from the equator to the poles. Yeah, so that's why we can see a lot of decreasement, the temperature near the poles. Yeah, now come on to the altitude. Now come on to the altitude. What is the meaning of altitude? Altitude means height about the sea level. Height about the sea level. The atmosphere is mainly heated by the temperature prevailing on the surface. Yeah, means on the earth temperature, on the earth's surface, the temperature is always high, mainly headed by the temperature prevailing on the earth's surface. The lower layers of the earth are denser, contain more water vapor and dust particles. Okay, so on the surface, the temperature is very higher, or as we move up towards the atmosphere, as we are increasing our altitude, yes, the thinner air is unable to hold the same amount of heat. So you have noticed this thing, as we move up about the sea level, yes, up about the height, the temperature increases. No, the temperature decreases. Our height increases, temperature decreases. Okay, so rate at which the temperature decreases with increase in height. Yeah, as we are increasing our height, yes, the temperature decreases. Temperature decreases. It is generally 1 degree centigrade for every 165 meters of ascent. Therefore, hill stations like, have you noticed hill stations like Shimla, Darjeeling, Dalhousie are cooler than places situated in these plains. So that's why all these places, yeah, these are located at a very high on the height, and therefore the temperature is very cool here. So it is clearly said that as we move upwards, the temperature decreases as our height increases. Understood, everyone? Now comes the distance from the sea. Distance from the sea. Water takes more time to absorb insolations and more time to radiate the same heat. So water takes more time to absorb insulation heat, and it also takes some more time to cool down the same heat. So therefore coastal areas, they are getting warm up very fast by the heat. That's why they enjoy a moderate and equable climate. Yes, the places where they are distant from the sea, near the sea, these places have moderate climate. Moderate means not so hot or nor cold. An equable climate. What is the meaning of equable climate? Where summers are very hot. Yes, less, and winter's temperature are much milder. Winter means much cool they are. Okay, so we can see that these temperatures are very normal. During the day, when the land is warmer, yes, what the chapter says to you. During the day, near the coastal areas, when the land is warmer, when the land used to heat up by the sun rays, a cool breeze blows from the sea. Yeah, the cool breeze blows from the sea, lowering the temperature. Yeah, they level the temperature. Or at night also, when the sea is warmer, now it is opposite. When the sea is warmer, the cool air from the air blows out to the sea. So it makes the temperature equable. It makes the temperature equable and moderate. Okay? Yes. So now comes the prevailing winds. Prevailing winds. On seashores, winds bring the moderating influence. Yeah, winds are responsible for the moderate climate. Yes, and modifying temperature. So in the same way, winds from the polar regions lower the temperature drastically. When the winds from the polar regions, when they used to blow, they used to make the temperature level. And winds that used to blow from the desert areas are very hot and dusty. Yes, and because of this only, the temperature used to raise up of the area over which they blow. Yeah, the winds that are blowing from the polar regions, that makes the temperature very cool. Or the winds that are blowing from the hot deserts are very hot, and that makes the temperature very hot. So winds always transport the conditions of the places, yeah, which they used to blow. So we can say that winds are also responsible. Winds is also a very great factor, yes, for changing the temperature. Okay, yeah. Now comes the ocean currents. Can you tell me what are ocean currents? Can you tell me what is ocean currents? Ocean currents are the continuous directed movement of sea water generated by a number of forces acting upon water. Okay, continuous flow of water in the ocean only in one particular direction is referred to as the ocean currents. Okay, so let us turn the page number 46. Okay, now have a warming influence on the coastal areas, ensuring the seaports remain open and they do not use to feast. So when the cold currents, when they used to blow from the Arctic regions, moves towards the south, at lower latitudes they freeze many ports, resulting in closing down of operations. So let us see what is now slope of land. Slope of land. In the mountainous regions, now we are talking about the mountains regions, where the slopes in the south receive direct heat of the sun. Yeah, where you can see the mountainous areas, there the sun heat is directly and are very hot. These places are very hot comparing to the slopes in the north. So we can say that slopes which are located in the north, they receive direct raises. Or where the slopes which are located in the north, here is south receives direct heat, or in the north they are the places are very hot here. So hence the southern slopes are favorable for the purpose of agriculture. So wherever there are southern slopes, those areas are very fertile for agriculture and also for the human settlements also. And northern slopes are uncompletely suitable for agriculture. So these are the slopes, the mountain areas, which are southern slopes are very fitted for agriculture, and whereas if we talk about the northern slopes, they are unsuitable for agriculture. Okay, yes. So this is about the slope of land. Now comes the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. Let's see what is atmospheric pressure. In the summarized manner, I will tell you the pressure which is exerted by the air on the earth's surface. Have you got it? The pressure that is exerted by the air, that is pressurized by the air on the earth's surface, is said to be the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so it is known as atmospheric pressure, or it is expressed in units of millibars and it's measured with an instrument called barometer. So the measurement of atmospheric pressure can be done with the help of barometer also. Okay, so the normal atmospheric pressure at sea level is this much, 1013.2 millibars. Okay, so this much information is only enough for atmospheric pressure. Whatever I have highlighted, you also please student highlight it. Also highlight only atmospheric pressure, only this points you just get in the mind, the whole paragraph will be clear. Okay, yes. So now let's see factors affecting pressure. Factors affecting the temperature we have learned. Now I am going to explain you factors affecting pressure. So altitude again, the height about the sea level. As we go higher up into the atmosphere, yes, as we go up in the atmosphere, there is a decrease in the density of air. Yes, on the earth's surface you can see warmness, but as we move up in the sky, yeah, the air pressure decreases. The air pressure decreases. The rate of decrease is 1 millibar. Yeah, of every 10 meters increasement height about the sea level. So that's why we used to say that as we move up and up, the temperature will decrease. We can see cool atmosphere. Now comes temperature. With an increase in temperature, when the temperature increases, air expands. Yeah, what happens? Air used to extend, becoming lighter. Yes, it used to expand, it becomes lighter and rise upwards. Where it goes? It just rise upward direction, producing low pressure and thus exerts less pressure on the surface of the earth. Okay, so similarly, when surface temperature is extremely low, when the surface temperature is extremely low, the air above is cooled and it becomes heavier and denser, causing high pressure. Okay, so that is about the temperature. Moisture, as you all know, air containing water vapor. Yes, in then dry air, hence an increase in the moisture content atmosphere leads to a decrease in the pressure. Okay, so now comes the rotation of the earth. The rotation of the earth displays the mass of air, causing a change which leads to the decreasement in the area. So these were some of the factors, that is altitude, temperature, moisture, rotation of the earth. Okay, yes. Now distribution of pressure. How the pressure is distributed? The distribution of pressure is influenced by the variations in temperature. Yeah, that variety of temperature and rotation of the earth. That means the temperature is not same at every place. The permanent pressure belts are not so stable also. They are not equally. They used to shift slightly northwards in summer and southwards is winter due to the apparent movement of the sun between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, referred to as the shifting of the pressure belts. Okay, so this is about the distribution of pressure which is done by the pressure belts, which they use to change the directions of the winds also. Okay, now I am taking next page, that is, now students, what is unnecessary part that I am not explaining you? You will also not understand or my explanation will also get phased. So only just go on to this picture. This picture everyone. See this picture everyone? Yes. Have you seen this picture everyone? This picture is about the pressure belts, which when I was explaining the chapter, I have told you it was very important. I have written important also. So with the help of these pressure belts, we can come to know how the winds used to blow. So now I am just stopping it. I will continue in my second part. Okay. So thank you for listening me.